guys, Dr. Dex here. My name is Jason Russell. Welcome to the Dr. Dex podcast. I'm also known as Dr. Dex. My son DJ Studio Man's the technician. You can't see him, but you might be able to hear him.
I got you.
Maybe, maybe not. And today I have an awesome guest. This guy, he is a motivational powerhouse. His name is Mr. Chris Breen of the Legacy Dex. What's the word I'm looking for? Empire. The Legacy Dex Empire, right? And the Legacy Dex Academy. There's so many fingers going off of this Legacy Dex thing, man. I'm sure we're going to get into all of it, Chris.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Tell us a little bit about you, not too much, and what you're currently up to right now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate this opportunity to be on here. So right now, Empire might be a little bit much, but I appreciate that. I own and run Legacy Dex and Outdoor Living. We're in Greenville, South Carolina, and we're going on 10 years now in Greenville. I've lived here for the last 25 years. And, since starting the business, we actually have branched off. And yes, we do run the Legacy Dex Academy, which is kind of the business consulting that I have for deck builders. And then I also run a program, you may not be super aware of it, but called the Legacy Day Experience, which is kind of the personal development side of things. So we kind of hit the professional and the personal operating system is the way I call it. So
Kind of reboot the brand a little bit, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Business is hard, man. You need that every once in a while.
Dude, tell me about it. So anyways, Chris, South Carolina. So where did you grow up?
So I actually grew up just outside of Detroit in Michigan. So was up there until I was, I guess probably about 23, 24 before I moved down here.
Okay, so what was elementary school? Just breeze, cruise through that, and then anything in your childhood that stands out?
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up just outside of Detroit, Michigan. Went to elementary, and I guess junior high there. And I was in a town called Redford, Michigan. And I guess the stuff that stands out there, I think about kids these days and some of the struggles that kids have with school. And literally, I had to walk several blocks to school. It wasn't uphill both ways.
No.
But I remember walking to school when I was in elementary school and, all the fun that comes with that. But yeah, and then I did pretty well in school. I was always the type of guy that wanted to do the best in everything that I could. Did some sports. I was part of our basketball team, our track team. I was a high jumper. I didn't enjoy running at all. I was only on the track team because you had to do some kind of running to be able to do high jump. And so I actually I did the shortest possible running possible. I did the 4-man relay, the 1 mile relay, the 440, I guess. So you run one lap and that's it. So, I stayed pretty active in school. Academically, I did pretty well. And, sports wise, I tried to stay busy. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Were there any hobbies that you had in high school at all, or junior high and high school?
Honestly, I was very creative, and so I also enjoyed our art class. So I was drawing all the time, and in fact, it's probably part of what I love about what I do now is the creative side of it. And so anytime I get the opportunity to do that, I do. But yeah, I guess that would probably be the only hobby outside of that. My dad was actually a race car driver, and so
really?
I thought he was the coolest cat around. And so he actually bought my brother, my sister, and I what were called quarter midgets when I was literally 8, 9, 10 years old, I guess. And so we'd spend the weekends at Waterford Hills Racetrack. They had a little track inside the big track for us little guys. And so I grew up racing quarter midgets and following my dad around to the racetracks. So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
So was your dad? Was he a racer on the side, or did he do it?
So yeah,
professionally?
so his full-time gig was he was a firefighter in Southfield, and firefighters. I think he worked 11 days total a month. 24-hour shifts, and so on the side he was a builder. So he owned Breen Construction, which is kind of how I cut my teeth in the industry. And so he was a contractor, a firefighter, and a race car driver. So I mean, couldn't ask for a better combo as far as a role
Wow,
model growing up. So he
that's a
kept us
one,
busy.
two, three killer there. I
Yeah,
like that combo, man. That's
yeah,
like, you're kind of like doing some really dangerous work, and then
yeah,
you get to take it out onto the track,
yeah.
man.
Crazy
So we
part.
mostly
He still
go.
races today. I mean, he's 70 years old this year. I guess he's still racing, man.
Oh, how inspiring is that?
Yeah.
That is amazing. I love to hear that, man. Is he mostly on dirt or is he on pavement?
No, mostly pavement. So yeah, he
Mostly
does
pavement. Did
pavement.
you guys race on pavement as well?
So we did a little bit of both. Honestly, dirt track racing's way more fun. You're basically drifting around the entire track. So we
Hmm.
did a little bit of both, but mostly on pavement.
Okay. So does your dad have his own car and all that?
Yep. Yeah, he does.
Do you ever turn wrenches with him on it?
It's been a long, long time. So he still lives in Michigan. He's moved
Oh,
around a
okay.
little bit, but he's in Michigan and I'm in South Carolina, so I
Sure.
don't get back there. I try to stay out of the cold as much as possible, and Michigan's about 9 months of cold, nasty weather. So
Yeah, I feel you. It's kind of like the rain up here that we get. Yeah, man. Okay, so the quarter midget thing, that to me, at such a young age, to be said, "Here, son, jump in this race car and go as fast as you can."
right,
That
yeah,
is a really cool father.
yeah. It was a lot of fun.
I love that. And so did that give you a flavor for speed at all?
Oh, sure, man. My first like real car. We won't count my actual first car. My first car was like a little hatchback Honda Accord 5-speed, but my first real car was a '89 Mustang GT, which I subsequently ended up getting my license suspended when I was in college. And
Awesome.
I remember my car insurance payment was probably $500 or $600 a month. It was more than my car payment was for the longest time.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, so Need
Okay,
for
hold
Speed
on.
was definitely there.
Okay. All right. So let's get back to high school. So yeah, man, like back when I was in high school, like I couldn't wait to turn 16 so that I could drive.
Yeah,
My first car was a Volkswagen Rabbit.
nice.
And that poor car, that poor little German car, man, I just terrorized that car, man. In 3 days, the emergency brake no longer worked on it because it made this nasty howl when I would just.
Yeah.
But so what? So your first car was what?
So it was actually a hatchback Honda Accord. I think my dad picked it up for like $800. And before I could actually drive it, we had to put a new clutch in it. And, the engine in those is sideways with the trans on the side because it's front wheel drive. I don't know. We had to pull the engine, put the clutch in.
Whoa.
So I grew up learning how to wrench on cars.
Well, that's
So,
cool, man.
yeah.
What a great set of skills to have. Even if you
Yeah.
never use them again, it's always good. At least you know kind of what you're talking about because
Yeah.
you did it.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. So, yeah, and a Honda, dude, you had a really reliable first car.
I don't know, man. It was like 1996, and this was like a 1981 car or something. So it was pretty old. But
Right on.
and it was in
Right
Michigan,
on.
so like everything was rusting off of it.
Sure. Oh, because of the salty roads or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that?
Yep.
Okay, so
Exactly.
describe your like your average seasonal thing. Like you said, it snows like 9 months out of the year. I know it's
Yeah.
cold there and I know it snows a lot.
Yeah.
But where I come from, we get some salted stuff on the roads, but it's not like it's here and gone in a week.
Yeah.
The salt's all gone, it's all gone away. It only lasts a week, but you guys have like months of it, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, we would get snow as early as October, but mostly by the 1st of November, it was snowing, and man, it could go all the way into April and May. So, which
Wow.
was kind of cool side story about my childhood. My dad
Mhm.
also, when I was probably 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. He wanted to put me and my brother to work, so he actually bought a commercial lawnmower. His buddy had a lawn service. His firefighter buddy had a lawn service. My dad was the builder. He was the landscaper, and so my dad bought us a lawnmower. And after school and on the weekends, my mom would drive us around and we'd cut grass. We like got a handful of accounts cutting grass, which then led into the snow plowing. So like when you're not cutting grass, you're
Mm.
plowing snow. And so, yeah, man, when I was like 16 years old, I was driving a F350 with an 8-foot blade on the front, plowing snow. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And so we took advantage of the snow, but I did not like it at all. It was I didn't like the cold, didn't like the snow. The salt ate away any vehicle. You gotta be careful if you buy a vehicle from up north, that's for sure. The whole undercarriage is just nothing but rust.
Wow. Hey, solid advice. from somebody, a native from that area. But
Yeah.
okay, all right. So you're in high school. You're
Yep.
driving a pretty big truck for somebody, and a 16-year-old first year driver. You're plowing snow with it, man. Which again, it could be a fairly dangerous job, really, if you do it the wrong way, or you don't know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get did your dad teach you how to do that?
Yeah, he taught me how to do it. I was riding shotgun with him for a lot of years. I mean, inside of everything, construction, plowing snow, just kind of riding shotgun, watching him, learning from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I elevated really quick in that. At one point they had put me in a single axle, like a F800 dump truck. Talking about dangerous. I remember one time I was in a condo complex, and there was some ice, and I slid and literally like slammed into the back of a parked car, blew all the windows out of the glass out of it. And it's at nighttime, so these people are sleeping. We're out plowing snow, and I totally crushed their freaking car. That's a core memory for me there. So
yeah, I bet you're freaking out.
yeah.
So cool. So you're 16. You're like a sophomore or a junior in high school, probably?
Yeah. So, I mean, when I was 16, I guess I was a sophomore. This is a, 16, 17, 18 through my high school years.
Sure.
Yeah. Which funny part about that, you mentioned getting your driver's license. Right now I'm 6'3". When I got my driver's license, I was 5'8". So like I was a very late bloomer. Yeah, I was always the shortest guy in school, period. So
that's one of the things I was going to ask you is like, what's it like always being taller than everybody when you're in high school?
I was not.
That wasn't the case.
No, it was not.
Holy cow.
Case. I was a tiny guy. Yeah.
Okay, so you did well in school. You got good grades, which then probably got you, and then you did your sports.
Yeah.
But then you go to college.
Yeah, so I actually I went to college. I went to a local community college for a little bit, and then I went to Central Michigan University, CMU. Did not graduate from there. My dad bred into me this entrepreneurial, gene, and so I ended up probably had about 2.5 years in college before I finally just threw in the towel and went full time with my own business. So did not graduate college, don't have the degree. But about the only degree I got is in the School of Hard Knocks. So
cool. That's me, baby.
Yeah.
I brag on that. It's on my LinkedIn page, actually.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You know what? That is so okay to have that.
Yeah.
I think more people need a degree, and it's not complimentary. You got to earn it. The School of Hard Knocks. You got to go out and earn that,
I think it's
man.
more expensive than regular college.
Dude, it's the best degree you can get, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I never went to college. I don't have any secondary education. I took everything through the School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
And I think it's really it helps. It helps a lot of people, as long as common sense ain't so common nowadays, but it was back then. So if you had some good common sense, man, you could get through it.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely. So, okay. Well, hey, man, so you took a couple years in college, you had some community stuff going on. And then you said, you know what? Not for me.
Yeah.
This major can just kick it. I'm gonna go out and start my own business. And what was that business?
Yeah, so I essentially just continued with what my dad had taught me, and so I had my own lawn and landscape business. So probably had at the peak of it, probably in the neighborhood of 150 accounts that we would cut every single week.
Wow.
And
how old are you? How old are you at this time?
So at that time, let's see. Amy and I have been together 28 years. I'm 40. I'll be 48 this year. So I was 20. Yeah, I was 20 at that point.
So this is when you met Amy as well?
So actually, funny story, Amy, the co-founder and current CEO of Legacy Decks, she actually we went to elementary, junior high, and high school together. So we actually grew up together in Michigan. We didn't hang in the same circles. I was the goody two-shoes, getting good grades, playing sports. She was, I'll let her tell her story someday if you have her on the podcast.
100%. Let's sign her up.
We did not hang in the same circles. But 20 years old, I had an apartment with my buddy. And she showed up one night when we were having a party, and basically she never went home. That was 28 years ago. So
that's hilarious.
Tomorrow is actually our 24-year wedding anniversary. So
congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a hint for you.
Yeah.
A tip.
Yeah.
A tip. Don't ever miss your 29th.
I had a little bit of a panic there for a minute when I started to tell you that. I was like, wait, is it today? No, it's tomorrow.
Oh,
We're going to
dude,
celebrate in Vegas
we
tomorrow.
would cut bait right now because okay. So I know this podcast ain't about me,
Yeah.
but I'm going to tell you a quick story. I came home a few years ago from Deck Expo. It was in November at the time, and I came home on a Friday, and I was so hyped up from all this interaction from Deck Expo. The next day was my 29th wedding anniversary, and I completely blanked it. And I brought my wife home really expensive gifts and stuff just for, here you go. I just want you to have this.
Yeah.
And didn't even think about, happy anniversary or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was one of the worst things I've ever done in my life. Like,
How long you been married now?
32 years.
Okay. Congrats, man.
Well, next month, 32 years.
Awesome. Don't forget it.
So, yeah. So anyways, okay. So back to the action here. So, yeah. You met Amy.
Yep.
And it's funny you say that because that's how I met my wife, was at a house party.
Yeah.
same story. Like, kind of never been separated since,
Yeah.
So it's a good way to go, man. For all you online daters out there, just meet somebody at a house party, man, and you're good to go.
Yeah. So
okay.
So I was running the lawn service at the time, and we started dating, and I was about 20 then.
What was Amy doing at that time?
She was, goodness gracious, testing my memory. I'm pretty sure she was a bartender at Red Lobster or waiting tables at Red Lobster. If she wasn't, she was real close to doing that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Red Lobster. What's Red Lobster like?
She's probably going to fact check this when she listens and be like, no, dummy, I didn't start that job till like 3 years after we met. But anyways, Red Lobster, it's like it's a lobster place. They used to have one in Greenville where I'm at, but yeah. Seafood
We
place.
have one. We've had one. I just never been there.
Yeah. Well, I've been allergic
heard they have
to
really
seafood
good
my whole life,
biscuits.
so I don't eat it.
Yeah. What's that?
I've been allergic to seafood my whole life, so I don't eat it.
Okay, well, fair enough. It's probably a good reason not to. Actually.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. So you're in this landscape business. You're doing 150 yards. How many guys are helping you with this?
So there was probably 3 to 4 of us, including me. Didn't take long. I mean, we'd have like 30 yards in one neighborhood. I could just drive the lawnmower around for half the day and cut
That's
30
awesome.
yards. Yeah.
But you're busting through a lot of fuel. Like, how many gallons of gas you guys rocking through in a day?
Goodness, man. I don't know. Those commercial mowers have got some big tanks on them, so it'd be probably unusual to have to fill it once.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. These are things, like I said, things just pop in my head. I got to know. I got to know how much gas you used back in the 90s, man.
When it was 95 cents a gallon, yeah.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. I couldn't imagine now. It's $5 a gallon. Wow. How much is gas where you're at?
Man, I drive a Tesla, so I don't keep up with that. I'd probably say in the $3 to $3.50 range.
So cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but Washington, they like to charge us $5 a gallon.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Everything's
okay,
more
so
expensive.
so how much longer do you do the landscape maintenance for?
Yeah, that's a great question. So let's see. That was when I was 20. We moved to South Carolina when I was 24-ish. And so we probably had that business for another 3 years or so. I got recruited away from it by a big out-of-town landscape company out of Kentucky. I was like 20, 3, 2, and they offered me a ridiculous salary to be the general manager of like this national chain landscape company. And so I was like, hell yeah, sign me up for that. So I actually went and became the GM of that company. They subsequently went under because they expanded too fast and whatever. But yeah, so I sold the landscape company to my partner at the time, and he kind of took things over and started running another guy's team, and that fell apart. And so I guess I was like 23 at the time. So
okay.
Yeah.
And so that job what took you and Amy to South Carolina?
No, actually what happened was when I lost that job, the GM at the landscape company, I I ended up reaching out to a buddy of mine and that ran a marketing company, good friend of mine. And long story short, I ended up he was my diamond in Amway. If anybody's familiar with Amway or pyramid schemes or whatever, anyway, not a scheme, but I was in that organization, which was like my first introduction to personal development. Fantastic. I made no money, but I learned a ton of stuff. But anyways, my upline diamond ran a marketing company, and he was looking for some outside sales reps. It seemed super cool because you travel around the country. So I basically started working for him, and that's what took us to South Carolina. Basically, I spent the entire month of January and February traveling around warm states like Southern California and Texas, and Amy's back at home. It's like negative 14 degrees. You go outside, you breathe in, and your nose hairs freeze. And she's like, scrap this, I'm out of here. So she, her grandparents had retired down to South Carolina. And so she's like, while I was traveling, she's like, I'm going to find a place. And so she flew down here with her mom. She looked at all kinds of apartments, and didn't matter where I lived at the time because I was basically just had to have an airport. And so she identified a place. I don't even know that I saw it before we moved here. And we ended up moving down to Greenville to be closer to her grandparents. She always was close with their grandma and wanted to make sure that our kids, our future kids, because we didn't have them at the time, would be able to know them. And so that was kind of, warm weather, great grandma's there. Let's go. So that was kind of what took us down to Greenville.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you lived in this really cold environment, and you knew from a younger age that it just wasn't for you.
Yeah. No.
And you knew someday that you were going to bounce out of there and have a much warmer environment.
That was the plan.
Okay. Well, It looks like it's working out pretty good so far. So
far,
good
so
for
good.
you.
Yeah. We got an empire in Greenville now.
Yeah. I love it. All right. So you guys move.
Yeah. Move to Greenville.
What's next?
Amy gets pregnant, and we didn't have health insurance. And so I'm like, crap, what are we going to do? And I knew the marketing gig was not a long-term thing. I've always wanted to be in construction. And so we moved here. We didn't know anybody. She got pregnant. I'm like, crap, what are we going to do? I ended up getting a job at Lowe's. So I guess I was like 24 at the time, maybe 25. I don't know. But got a job at Lowe's, picked up health benefits, made some connections. It was very intentional. My goal was to meet some builders in the area that I could then work with. And so I got a job at Lowe's. I bought a lawnmower because I was like, I know how to cut grass. Let's start doing some stuff on the side. I need to make money. I'm young. And so I actually had the lawn service get back up and going. It was just me and a little freaking Dodge panel van with a little single trailer with a lawnmower on it, doing that at nights and weekends, and working at Lowe's, and got the health insurance, so didn't have to pay for Peyton, my oldest daughter, to be born. So
nice.
So then I went to work at Lowe's and made some good connections. I ended up meeting the builder there that I started working with him on the weekends, and he signed off on me taking my builder's test here. So to be able to take your test in South Carolina, you have to work under another builder for a year. And so he signed off on the affidavit for me to get my take my test. So I took my test, passed it, and got my builder's license.
Nice.
While I was working at Lowe's.
So that test you took, I know that certain states require certain qualifications for you to become a licensed contractor.
Yeah.
In my state, it just takes money. That's all they care about here is just give me money, and you can be whatever you want to be, just pay. But like in California and Nevada and apparently where you live, and California is like really extensive.
I would never build decks there.
But
California deck builders.
I have a lot of respect for you guys as well, man.
Yeah.
We've had several guys on so far from Southern California.
Yeah.
And it's always the same. It's about permitting. It's about the contractor's license and obtaining this and da-da-da. And, I don't know if I could pass it because I'm so niche specific in my thought process, because that's all I've done for 33 years is build decks.
Yeah.
I haven't built a house. I've framed houses before, some stuff. I've done a lot of finish work, but I don't know if I have the proper terminology, blah, blah, blah.
So there's no test in Seattle then?
No, just pay.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like, when you take the test, at least here, you've got to study on all kinds of stuff. You got to learn about sheetrock, about insulation, about soil, about
Hmm.
erosion, concrete, law. Like, it's no joke. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, because that was my next question. You answered it for me. Was what is that test like?
Yeah.
And I know you took it several years ago, but there's still got to be a certain amount of information that you have to be able to process to be able to pass that.
Yeah, it's essentially when I took it, it was open book. I'm not sure if it's still. I think it's still open book. It's really just being able to tip that I would give anybody going to take the test. Make sure you buy the books that are pre-tabbed and pre-highlighted, because all you're doing is essentially reading the question and then saying, okay, where is that in the book? And you go find the answer, because there's no way you can retain all the information, like just
Right. Well,
impossible. So
that kind of makes sense too, because then at least the state's saying, hey, these guys don't know what they're doing,
but they can find the answer. Yeah.
if they can find the answer
Right,
in the
right.
book,
Yeah,
then we're one step ahead of the problem.
that's right. That's right.
That makes sense to me because
Yep.
if you're a decent builder, you go,
Yeah.
we got to add 4 pieces of rebar instead of 3. Okay,
Yeah.
Dun.
So
and
quick,
it's
quick
done.
story about builder's license, since we're talking about it.
Sure.
We're expanding Legacy Decks up into North Carolina because I'm in South Carolina. We're expanding
Okay.
up north into like Asheville. And so I had to get my license up there. And it's, for the most part, it's got reciprocity, which basically means they recognize my license, but you still have to take the law test. And so I did this like probably 2 years ago. And I bought the book. I didn't buy the pre-tabbed, pre-highlighted book. It's like 44 questions. You get 90 minutes. I'm like, oh, you get 2 minutes per question. That's plenty of time. I didn't study. I didn't highlight. I didn't tab anything. And I went and I failed that sucker the first time, man. So it was the most anxiety I felt in the longest time, trying to find all the answers frantically. So anyways, long story short, I went back, I bought the tabs, I highlighted, I studied, and I passed it on the second go around. But yeah,
Cool.
it was, and all I had to take was the law test that time. So.
But
Yep.
still, I mean, for most construction guys, it's probably even worse because you know the construction doesn't mean you know the law.
Yeah, like when do you have to have a permit? How do you pay subcontract? Like all that stuff. Like it's, yeah, a lot of stuff to know.
Insurance, all that.
Yep.
Okay. And how long? That was just a couple years ago, huh?
Yep. Yeah, that was like 2 years ago.
Okay, but they still allowed you to bring that book into the testing facility to take the test.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's open.
And you
book
have to
as
go.
well.
You had to go somewhere physically. You couldn't just do it online.
Yeah, it's proctored. So you have like headphones on. There's a camera watching you. You go in a little booth. They basically strip search you before you go in. Put all your belongings in a bag, hang it on your chair, and then you're just at the table with your book. You got to use their pencils and turn in your notes to them when you're done. Yeah, they control it pretty heavily.
Okay,
No
well that's
cheating going
good.
on.
That's good. I mean, it's not the FAA test I had to take for my drone license wasn't that bad, but I felt like I was being. I thought I was a pilot. I thought I was being tested like a pilot when I had to take that sucker, man.
Did you have to do a P test?
No, I was high as a kite. No, I'm just kidding. But I almost failed. And I did study for that thing.
Yeah.
But the test they give you it's tricky. Two of the answers, because it's multiple choice, 2 of the answers are exactly the same.
Yeah, just different.
There's 5 of
words,
them.
yeah.
There's 5 to choose from,
Yeah.
and 2 of them there's one verb or one adjective or one noun that's different.
Yeah.
And you're like, cumulus, clouds. I don't know, man. I was just like, whatever. C. If I didn't know the answer, I wrote down C.
Yeah.
I got 72%. So I almost know what I'm doing when I'm flying a drone over your home.
Nice.
So, anyways, okay. So you get your contractor's license.
Yep.
You're in your mid-20s.
Yep.
You're married.
Married. Yep.
And have a daughter.
Have a daughter. Yep.
And then what are you constructing?
So let's see. My daughter was born 2004. So moving into 2005, after I got my builder's license, I started subcontracting for Lowe's. So I was still working at Lowe's, and then I became a subcontractor installing kitchen cabinets and fences. And
Okay.
so that was kind of the start of the company at the time was called ProCare Services. It was very generic because I didn't know what I wanted to do, if I was going to cut grass, landscape, lay sod, or build a garage, right? So it was Pro Care Services. And so yeah, we just started gradually doing that. And as the side work started to replace the stuff at Lowe's, I ended up after 2 years leaving Lowe's. I had my second son at that point. He was born in 2005, so we went back to back. 2004, 2005. Had my daughter, had my son. Still, I had a third son too. But and so basically, after I had the second son, shortly after that, we decided to go all in on Pro Care Services. Stopped working at Lowe's. Started working out of my house full time, and yeah, we were doing anything. We would cut your grass, we would build you a fence, we would build you a deck. The first big project I ever did was building the guy a garage, and so yeah, so I had Pro Care from 2004 until 2013. Yep.
Okay.
So, and the evolution of that, essentially, I eventually dropped the lawn stuff, kind of handed it off to another guy to do those contracts, and went all in on the construction side of things. But I was doing everything. I was selling, I was managing, I was building the projects. Anything that needed to be done, I was doing it. Had a couple of guys working for me. My neighbor, actually at the time, 60-year-old guy, he was like my number two. He was my first employee, if you will. And so we just it just started going from there. We kept installing fences and cabinets for Lowe's, and picking up any other kind of stuff we could do to kind of pay the bills. Eventually, we ended up getting a small office right on Main Street in my town in Simpsonville, which is actually where I live, just outside of Greenville. And I think the only employee outside of Amy was my bookkeeper, marketing, all that kind of stuff, which is kind of why I kept her around for the most part. When we first started dating, she took over my books, and she's just never stopped. So she's always been in control of the money, and it's worked out so far. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so eventually we still, though, Pro Care Services was basically all things to all people. We built a couple of custom homes. If you would have told me back then that we could build $5 or $10 million worth of decks, just decks, I would have told you you're crazy. There's not that much deck business. So we were doing everything that anybody would ask. We do a kitchen, we do a bathroom, we do a deck, a garage, a house, a fence. So yeah,
Sure.
So we did that for almost 10 years.
Okay, so hold on a second.
Yeah.
There's something I need to get clear here. When did you get your first tattoo?
When did I get my first? So first tattoo was probably when I was
back up a little bit so we can see, we can admire.
When I was 18 in Michigan, I got my first tattoo, which is now covered up. It's underneath here. But
Okay.
when I was 18, and then I went a little bit crazy, probably after I actually sold Pro Care in 2013. And I'm like, and I was burned out because didn't figure out how to scale it to a point where it didn't require me. And I was like, well, crap, I don't have to show up as the owner anymore. I can go get some tattoos. So I started off, started down. I like cut off right there. You can see there's like a line. I cut off there so that the sleeve would still cover it. And then I'm like, maybe we'll go a little further. So I just kind of got, there was a period of time between 2013 and 15 that I was just like, continuing to go back to my tattoo artist over and over again. So
Once a week, you're in the salon.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a good time to ask that question because it sounds like you're winding down on the Pro Care.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what? It's time for some ink.
Yeah.
I mean, serious.
Right.
So, all right. So let's go through. And you're fully sleeved on both arms now?
Yeah, both arms, my chest on this side, my back on this side. So, yep.
Okay. All right. That's a healthy amount. What do you think your total investment? If you want to wait to share that information until we go into our bonus episode, that's cool.
No, I don't mind. So I figure I've got all in probably about 45 hours. And with tips and all that, I was probably paying like $1.75 an hour back then. So probably about $8,000.
Was that it?
Yeah.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah. I guess.
I pay $8,000 for one tattoo. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
I don't. But no, that's, and do you, okay, so I've been told and regretfully so, I've been told though, if you can stick with one artist,
yep.
it really gives you a lot of good cohesiveness to your art on your body. How many artists have you had working on you?
Just one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good for you.
Except for the guy that when I was 18 up in Michigan. But yeah,
Of course.
since then, it's just been the same artist. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of have a gal that I haven't seen in several years, but she did a couple of mine, and I would like to stick with it.
Yeah.
You know, when I decide it's time to do another one, I haven't had one in a while, but yeah, that's always a cool kind of not so taboo anymore. You know, I think it's like it's no big deal to see a couple tattoos on somebody.
Right. It's more
nowadays
mainstream now. Yeah.
and I kind of like the way you flow because your stuff looks fluid.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it's like, you know, some people do it one way, some people do it another. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I just, you know, there's different art forms, and depending on the artist and who's doing your ink, you know. But that's cool. It's kind of a cool thing to have. And do you shave your arms at all, or?
No, I haven't in a while. I go through seasons where I will, but I haven't in a while. So.
Do you like wear sunscreen or protective wear a lot?
Nah,
or
not really.
No?
No.
Okay, so you just rock that, and there it is.
I've had this is a Phoenix, and I've had this touched up once. You know, all this color, so that's been touched up once. But other than that, everything's pretty much original.
Yeah,
so.
I've had one touched up as well. It's just black and white, but it's getting pretty convoluted now. So I'm thinking about maybe having it erased and have something else put on there. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess they can do that these days.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how painful that is.
My daughter turned 18, and that was her request, was to get a tattoo. So I got her in with my guy, and he did her first tattoo. So now she's got
That's cool.
freaking 10 tattoos. So can't really say much about it. So
how about mom? Mom got any?
Yeah, she's got a couple. She's got I guess she's got 3.
Cool.
2 for sure.
Kiki kind of went Chris Breen.
Yeah.
And she went and had 8 in one sitting.
Oh wow, crazy.
Yeah. She went all in. Like she came home and she was all Latined up. I'm like, whoa, nice. Wow, what's this one mean?
Love it.
So she explained all the definitions. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to remember all these, but I got a couple of them.
Yeah.
I got a couple of them.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Okay, so we're at the mid-20s. You're in your mid-20s.
Yep.
You just sold your business, or you shut it down. Did you sell it, or did you shut it down?
So yeah, that was actually my first. Well, I don't want to say it was my first exit. That was 2013. One of my customers approached me, and he had a really great prime piece of real estate. He was a business guy. He owned a bunch of cell phone stores, and he's like, hey, why don't we partner up and put a showroom on my piece of property up here? And now you got to remember, I'm burned out at the time. I'm just trying to.
Okay.
We hadn't even covered like some of the nonsense I went through during that. I mean, I filed bankruptcy in 2011. Like I've done everything wrong.
Brutal.
Yeah, we can maybe talk about that for the Patreons or whatever.
Okay.
But
cool.
But yeah, so 2011 bankrupt, but didn't shut the company down. Was able to keep it going. By 2013, I was done. But I had a really good name, reputation, and my branding was super solid. Anytime I pulled up on somebody's house, they thought we were a national franchise just because our stuff looked good, which is cool. But it was really just me. And so he, instead of me partnering with him, because I did not want to partner, I wanted out of the business. Basically, we negotiated a deal where he bought me out. And he kind of gave me, I guess, what they call the golden handcuffs, where I had to stay working with him for a year to keep the thing going. But yeah, so I sold it in 2013. And ended up working with him for about 9 months before we both decided, like, hey, you got this, you go ahead and run with it. We had different ideals and values about business, and so it was a little out of alignment. So I just kind of decided to end that. So 2013, that was and then by 2014, I wasn't working with him anymore, and had a bunch of money. We had built a custom house during this time as well, and sold the house, sold the business, sold about 90% of everything we owned. And Amy's like, well, what do you want to do now? And so I told her, I was like, I want to become a full-time missionary. Now, side story, during this time, I had started doing mission trips with my church, and just really got a heart for serving. And this one particular area, we worked at a boys' home in Mexico. And so I was like, you know what? I really enjoy doing that. It was nowhere near like the stress of my contracting business. And so Amy's like, all right, well, let's look at what that looks like. So we had a bunch of money in the bank, a bunch of time at that point. And so we signed up for a discipleship training school through an organization called YWAM, which is Youth with a Mission. And it's a 6-month commitment where you go basically learn how to be a disciple, and then you go do it for a couple months in the field. And so that was a 6-month commitment, but we had about 6 months before that started. And so we took the money we had. I bought this 7.3 turbo diesel Excursion and a 38-foot travel trailer. And we drove cross country for 6 months with all 3 kids. We had since then, 2012, I had my youngest son. So we had a 2-year-old and I guess a 9 and a 10-year-old at that time.
Wow.
And so
were you homeschooling those kids while you were traveling around? Okay.
Yeah, by we, I mean Amy was homeschooling them, yeah.
Of course.
And so, yeah.
Somebody's got to drive the rig, right?
That's right. Somebody's got to drive. So we spent 6 months on the road, man. We traveled cross country. We went to, we were in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Well, the week before Mardi Gras, which is called Family Gras. We went to the Grand Canyon, the Hoover Dam. We were in Phoenix for the Super Bowl. Spent a couple of weeks in California, Southern Utah. Did a bunch of hiking, and yeah, we had a great time for 6 months on the road. So this was like 2014 into 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get current here. So
getting there.
All right. So, but isn't this great?
Yeah, I mean it's great because it's like, I mean, so many things I even forget. Like I actually owned a couple cell phone stores in that period as well. Like
no kidding, dude. Yeah. You're a carbon copy almost. We owned a cell phone store for a while.
Yeah, down here in Greenville.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and please interject anything you want, anytime you want. Like I said in the description, this is really all about Chris Breen.
Yeah.
If we don't talk about legacy decks,
yeah,
that's cool, man.
You got to look that up the website.
Yeah, man, we got 20 minutes. Your shirt says it all.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I this is what I want. I want to hear about you and your fam. And just anything you want to talk about. That's what's cool about this podcast. It is a construction-based deck building type podcast.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to get the inner scoop.
Yeah, for sure.
On the people, right? So, okay. So let's see. You're in this mission now, dude. All right?
Yeah.
And you're driving around in this travel trailer and stuff. Okay. So you're on the West Coast somewhere?
So we basically, it was from November to like February, March. So we stayed in the southern states all the way across, and then came back. We put 11,000 miles total while we were on the road. And it was a great time. I mean, it was a great time to connect with the family. I will say this, it did expose me in that time because, you got to look back, like most of us building a business, like we're putting in more time in the business usually than we are with the family. And, it took about 30 days on the road. This is a lesson that I learned before Amy and the kids, before I wasn't a distraction to them. Like they're used to just living their life, running their life and doing their thing, and dad's off working, right? And so it was really, the first 30 days was super weird because I was there all the time. And they're used to doing life without me, which is kind of sad when you think about it. And so, I learned an important lesson in that, if I ever did get back into business, because in my mind, I was just gonna be a missionary full time. But if I ever did get back into business, like I would do it different to where that wasn't the case. But yeah, so we spent 5-6 months on the road, 11,000 miles. Only had to put a transmission in the truck, and I think I had the wheel bearing blow out on my camper in the middle of nowhere, Texas. Oh. It was literally like an hour and a half to a town this way or an hour and a half to a town that way. We had to basically abort the camper because the hub blew off and drive into the next town, get the parts, come back. Luckily I had the skills wrenching, so I was able to do it myself.
Hey, talk about life skills, brother. There you go, man.
Yep.
You dissected that baby right on the side of the road and made it happen.
Yeah. It was good. That's awesome. It was good times. So, but yeah, so we did 6 months on the road, came back, parked the trailer, we had like maybe 20% of our belongings still in a storage unit because we didn't have a house anymore. And we headed to this discipleship training school. Now, we wanted to do it as a family, and there's very few discipleship schools for families. Unfortunately, this one, unfortunate or fortunate, was in Kona, Hawaii. And so we packed up the kids and we headed to Kona for essentially 6 months, but we spent about half that time in Mexico, actually on mission. So we were part of a thing called the Family DTS, Family Discipleship Training School, and we spent a bunch of time just learning about gospel, learning how to take it out and minister to people. Got really close with a bunch of families. We essentially were living in like a dorm in Kona, which isn't a bad place to be. So had a ton of great experience there, and we ended up getting chosen to lead our discipleship to Mexico because we had those connections there. And so we took a small team and went to Mexico for a couple of months. And all this time I'm just kind of trying to figure out like what's next, right? Like where are we going to go? What are we going to do? In my mind, I'm like, we're just going to move to Mexico and live as missionaries. And but that was my plan. God had different plans for us. So we ended up coming back from that, and I didn't really feel called to go there full time. And so Amy and I, we had the camper, and I had a buddy that had a commercial property, and he let me park the camper at the commercial property, essentially storage units. I was living at storage units. This was, I guess, 2015, and we just kind of hunkered down. I wasn't looking to get back into construction. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. Had some money, so I didn't have to do anything. I was just kind of there. And so that was 2015.
So let me get something straight. 10 years ago, you were living in a camper.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is a very interesting story, Chris. Yeah. I didn't expect this today. Like,
okay, good.
You're making my day, right? Man. You're like, this is very inspirational. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so another question I have. Let's go back to Kona.
Yeah.
Like, did you pick up surfing at all, or boogie boarding, or did you do any of that kind of thing?
So, we definitely did a ton of bodyboarding. I had a 2-year-old at the time, and so when I was in the ocean, he was with me, and he absolutely freaking loved it. So I never surfed out there, surprisingly enough, but we definitely boogie boarded a ton. Cool. So it was a lot of fun.
Heck yeah, it's a fun sport to do, man. When you're over there, and it doesn't take a ton of skills, like
right.
I went one year. I used to boogie board a lot, and then I kind of got heavy for a while, and it got harder to catch the wave, and even the locals are go paddle harder. They're getting pissed because they'd give me a good wave, and then I'd miss it, and so. But yeah, I always enjoyed those that action on the waves and being in that environment,
Oh yeah, it was super cool.
All right, so now you come back from Mexico. Yep. Hola. You're back.
Yep.
And you moved back to Greenville?
Yep. We're living in the camper at the storage units in Greenville. Yep.
Okay. All right. And then what's next?
So that's a great question, man. We really just were trying to listen for, some kind of calling, if you will, and didn't feel called to go anywhere. And so I took the opportunity to just be here. And what I mean by that is like, while Amy and I were growing up, if you will, as a married couple, she built a amazing network of moms. She created her own moms group, and for her own sanity, like did this. And in that time, when I came back, I realized like I never connected with any of the men, the husbands of that group, or let alone had really any good friends here in Greenville. And so I literally just started reaching out to people and grabbing coffee, grabbing a beer. I was not retired, but like didn't have to work. And so I just started making some connections with some dudes, and it turned out really super solid. One guy ended up reaching out to me directly, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I saw what you did. I heard what you did with your company." He's like, "I want to start a business like that." He basically wanted to build screen porches only for the most part. And he's like, would you talk to me about what that looks like? And so I ended up having coffee with that guy. And it was in that conversation, sometimes we discount the knowledge and experience that we have as just like, oh, everybody knows that, right? Like everybody, you know that, right? Well, in that conversation, I really realized for the first time, I was like, I actually got some stuff that I know that's beneficial that I could instill in some other people, call it mentoring, whatever. I think I just discounted my skills and knowledge and experience because I just grew up, in that entrepreneurial world.
I feel you.
Yeah. So I'm I'm having coffee with this guy in Simpsonville, and he's like, hey, I want to start this thing. And so now, mind you, I had a no compete with the guy that bought my business, and so I couldn't really do anything at that point, and I wasn't looking to get back into construction by any means. But a little kind of flame started in me that I was like, maybe I could do this again and do it differently. Amy in the background though she's like, let's go, let's start another company, let's do something. But I was not interested in it. So I started meeting people, came across this guy, and then, long story short, over time, he kept doing what he was doing. My no compete expired, and I made the decision to go ahead. This was 2016, I guess, December 2015 into January 2016, to go ahead and start again. And basically, I went to this guy that had approached me. I was like, hey, what if I partnered with you and helped you? And he's like, yeah, let's do that. And then I reached out to another buddy that liked home building, and I was like, hey, I'm going to start this business with this guy, mentoring him and partnering with him. Do you want to start? He was actually he was a nurse at the time, which he hated. And so we started at the time, we started 3 companies at once. If you know the guy that used to run Deck Masters out here in Greenville, you know who I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so he actually approached me in this time. All this happened at the same time. And he's like, hey, do you want to come sell for me, work for me, whatever? And I wasn't interested in getting a job with anybody. And so he ended up, him and I struck a deal where I just bought his business. So December 2015, January 2016, I bought Deck Masters. And that's when I went to my other buddies, both of them, and I said, hey, I'm going to start Deck Masters. What if we started Porch Masters, the guy that wanted to do screen porches, and Build Masters, the guy that wanted to build houses and stuff? And so we started all of this, and Amy was kind of the mastermind behind it all. She's like, all right, I'm going to start a holding company called Master Contracting. And that's going to do all of the back office, bookkeeping, call center, paperwork for all 3 companies. So we rented a space not like 2 miles from my office right now, like 2,500 square foot, $1,000 a month, and boom, we're in business. We got all 3 of these companies now. So we took over Deck. That's how Legacy Decks came to be, kind of, origin story. We rebranded Deck Masters as Legacy Decks. And,
when did you do that?
So that was, we were looking to franchise Deck Masters, and the name was not able to be franchised. So that was probably, 5 years ago now. So 2020, I would say, maybe right before 2020, 2019, 2020, we rebranded.
That's when I met you, I think, for the first time. I believe it was around 2019 when, maybe it was a little later, but it was one of those TimberTech Golf.
It was probably it was probably 18, 19. It was definitely.
We were on a bus.
We knew each other before COVID, so
I jumped on.
Yeah, TimberTech. Yeah, the TimberTech championship. We did meet officially. We met before that, but that's the first time we ever had a deep conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Where I kind of put a face to a name, and your wife was there, and we had a really great, probably 15-minute chat on the bus heading over to one. And I was like, hey man, I know you guys are busy. I'm busy. Got to bounce. I'm supposed to be somewhere in 15 minutes. Blah blah blah. Nice to meet you. And then I've witnessed this growth, this prominence emulating, I should say, from you and your brand and your wife.
Yeah.
And it's been really interesting. To watch what you've come, and to hear what you've come from, and now to witness where you're going. And it's very interesting. We're gonna run out of time on this, but we're gonna jump in it. We're gonna jump in it into our bonus episode. But
so much more dirt to cover.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want to get too far advanced here because I really want you to be able to cap off your story. And we got 7-8 minutes, Cal. Yeah, somewhere in there. I mean, we can go long if we need to, but we try to stay within our format, right?
Sure, we're about there.
So, yeah, well, no, we're getting there. We're in the 2020s, or close to it. So okay. So when I met you, you had Legacy. Did you not have Legacy Decks when?
So we were Deck Masters. We were Deck Masters when you met me, because if you remember, you did a quick little. I introduced you to Jeremy Wilkins over video.
Right.
I said, "Hey, can I introduce you to Jeremy? Will you do a quick video?" And Jeremy's handle IG handle is Deckmaster J because he worked for Deckmasters and he was Jeremy. So that's where Deckmaster J comes from. And so I introduced you to him, and bing, bang, boom, he went from like, 600 followers to 20,000 followers, right?
You're welcome, Jeremy. You're welcome. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But dude, okay, so back up for a second.
Yeah.
I thought, and this is because it's just me thinking, right?
Yeah.
Being a social media ambassador, influencer, whatever you want to call it, right? Deckmaster J is just a really cunning way of saying, I'm a bad deck builder. But I had no idea that it had tied into your company name.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, wow, man.
He was a subcontractor for several years, and then he actually we put him on the payroll for a while before he went on.
I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember all this. So we're in my realm now. So okay, so let's go back for just a sec. So sorry, I'm just processing this as we're talking. So you have Deckmasters.
Yep.
I met you as a Deckmaster.
Yep.
All right. So during this transformation of your company, you go from Deckmasters, and then what possessed you to change the name to Legacy Decks?
Yeah, so we had gotten the business, in this time, we had gotten the business to a place where it was basically running without me doing anything major in the business. I was leading. I wasn't selling, managing, ordering. Customers didn't know my name. And so we got the bright idea, like, hey, what if we franchised this and helped other deck builders do what I did or do what we did? And so we decided to franchise. Well, when you franchise, you need to have a name that's trademarkable, and the website needs to be available. And so we hired a franchise attorney and a franchise consultant, and I've got the book somewhere. I had them build out the Legacy Decks manual. This is what we paid for. It cost me $75,000 to have a franchise company come in and talk to us about how to franchise. And so in that time, we had to find a name that would work. And my franchise attorney said, he's like, I don't care what it is. Make sure it's easy to remember, it's trademarkable, and that the website's available. Well, Legacy Decks was all three of those things. So somebody had previously had it. They let the trademark expire and the website expire, and we grabbed it and bought it, and off to the races we went. So that's kind of how Legacy came to be. But in that whole process, we got really clear about one thing, and that was that deck builders don't want to buy a deck franchise. And so I was like, well, that sucks, because I want to help deck builders. Deck builders have their own brands usually, right? Like, you're not going to buy a Legacy Decks business.
No, we're going to combine forces.
Yeah, well, it's going to be some white collar guy that's got extra money laying around, wants a business, and so in that moment we decided, like, hey, instead of franchising, we want to coach and consult, and so that's kind of that, along with some nudges from Pops Beaudry over at Nadra.
That was coming next. Yep.
Yeah, we created the Legacy Decks Academy, and we basically put a name to what we were going to do, which was consulting and coaching and mentoring other deck builders, and basically just sharing all the stuff that we've been doing in our business, and literally from a place of like actually having the business, no theory involved, and so we started the academy. We rebranded the Legacy Decks, and we decided not to franchise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So you still have Legacy Decks as a company that you're building decks. So what about Master Decks? Is that your competitor now, or do you still own that, or what?
Deckmasters?
Yeah.
So I still own that name. I bought the name and everything, but we just operate under Legacy Decks. So
okay.
Yeah, essentially it's just me.
What about Porch Masters and House Masters?
Oh yeah, so Porch and Build. Build Masters, we scaled it to about a little over $4 million, and I sold my half of the company to my partner, which was a fantastic exit.
Yeah, heck yeah, it is.
Yeah, and then Porch Masters, that partner and I didn't really have an alignment in values. And so shortly after starting, we decided to part ways. I don't even know. It might have been in the first year and a half, and maybe a little longer. And so basically that company didn't really have any real value to sell. And so we just kind of, wrote up the paperwork, and he still operates his business, and Build Masters still operates their business, and they're both growing in this market. So
great.
Yeah.
And now you're Legacy Decks.
And now we're Legacy Decks.
All right.
Deck Masters.
No more Deck Masters. So that was in 2020-ish?
So I sold Legacy Decks 2020. I think it finalized in 2021. I'm sorry, not Legacy Decks. Build Masters. Build Masters. Yeah. Yep. And all that kind of happened in that 2020, 2021 period.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Legacy Decks is rather fresh it's a deck building brand, but it has many, many years of experience behind it.
So yeah, I've had it for 10 years. The guy that started it when it was Deckmasters was 3 years. So technically we're like 13 years old, but I've had it for the last 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And branded as Legacy Decks for the last 5 years or so?
5-ish, yeah. Don't quote me on that, but
fair enough. Well, no. All right, Chris. So I think where I want to go with this is the whole Legacy Decks, and then the Legacy Decks Academy, where you're giving this information, not giving, you're charging for this information. Some of it you're giving away because there's like
Absolutely.
an event.
Yeah.
You may be compensated by somebody for bringing you into this or whatever. You got, what people ask me for free information every single day.
Yeah.
Every day of my career. People are DMing me and say, and for the most part, I give it to them.
Yeah.
But when you have a company and you're trying to eat and you got to pay the power bill and, have a podcast, whatever it is,
Yeah.
it takes money to do that. So you got to charge a certain amount for what you do. And I respect and I understand that. So, for you to come and even give a presentation to a group, an audience, oops, sorry, Cal. I get scolded when I hit the mic. It takes effort and energy to get there and prep and all these other things that go into what your service is. So just kind of give me, is that where your focus lies right now, is in the academy? Or
So I mentioned earlier that Amy is technically the CEO at Legacy Decks. She basically is not basically, she is running that company. I only do the quarterly and annual planning with them now, and my focus is 100% with the academy. And I give away, just like you, I give away a ton, like the information, I'll give it all away. I charge people when they want me to help implement it, right? And so that's kind of how the academy is. And I love the fact that we have the deck business, because like stuff is always changing, like the way that we're selling, the way that we're managing the softwares, the technology. And so it keeps the academy's content really fresh, because we literally are running a multi-million-dollar deck business right next door. When my members come here, they literally can walk over and meet with my estimator, with my front office gal, with my sales team. And so it's really kind of a cool thing that I get to do. So yeah, my focus is 100% here.
Proof's in the pudding, man.
Yeah.
You've got the receipts to show.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Chris Breen from Legacy Decks and Academy.
Yep.
We're out of time.
All right. Well, this has been
already.
Good.
Yeah, this has been really good. Probably one of the best 34, number 34?
35.
30. Ooh, dude, you're number 35. Nice. You're
gonna title it like from living in a camper to running a multi-million-dollar deck empire.
That's
I tried to avoid that. I did that at first,
good.
but I'm like, I'm really tired of that, so I'm like, I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Good.
I would just put down Stone Cold Gangster or something like that.
The working title so far is "This guy's done like literally everything." Like, holy crap.
It's been a joy. Actually fun. I can't believe this time's up already. Just really awesome to hear your backstory. But now we're gonna jump over to Patreon, and we're gonna do some numbers. And there's just some other things I want to know about you and what you got going on here, about this the academy, and also something I've heard along the lines of some physicality that's going on in some of these training sessions. So if you guys want to hear about that, because you're a fit dude, step back, show them your. All right, yeah.
Whoa, no weapons on YouTube.
Easy, yeah, no guns allowed. Okay, so I'll tell you what. If you want to hear it, you want to get some of the dirt on Chris Breen, go to Patreon, click subscribe, $5 a month, guys. You can pay more if you want. You can do the Uber experience or whatever it is, Cal, that we offer.
$5?
Just do the $5 one. It's cheap. And we just thank you, Chris Breen, Legacy Decks and Academy. Thank you for being here. I'm very grateful, man. And hey, how do we get a hold of you? What do you want to? Is there anything else you want to say before we jump?
No, this has been great. I mean, I really enjoyed it. If you want to follow me, best way is just on my personal Instagram page, which is official Chris Breen. So that's, everything you want is going to be there. So that's where
Okay.
I would send you.
All right, that's simple and easy, guys. All right, that concludes another episode of the Dr. Dex podcast. Chris, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you guys. All right, don't forget to click that subscribe button. There you are, right there. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Over and out.